Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a planty video because I have been a self-proclaimed plant parent for about a year now, and to celebrate that I thought I was about to say quick tour. It's not going to be quick. I'm going to just ramble on about all my plants and share some of my lessons learned as someone who's sort of like recently gotten into keeping plants, and show you all of my wonderful planty babies. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off by saying that I'm going to separate it into the genuses. So it'll be like anthuriums, alocasias, that sort of thing. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm propping my phone against a ladder. So I'm going to start now with anthuriums. I'm going to get my first one. So this, actually, where is it? I'll start in chronological order. This is my Anthurium crystallinum, which is my first anthurium. And I got it in the Lytham Garden Centre. And it's my first anthurium that I got. It's very pretty. It gives up nice leaves. It's giving one out now. Not much to report. I've split it into another one here. I've got it here, and because I have so many anthuriums, I thought that I would experiment with substrates. And so this one's in my propagation one, is in moss and fluval stratum. And I've had no progress just yet with it, but I'm hoping to get a little bit of action. And then this one is in the soil it came in. I'm gonna move down. And also some moss and like coconut hair. You're not gonna see that. Okay, I'm back, sorry. Yeah, so this is my crystallinum anthuriums. They're a bit, I don't want to say they're forgettable, but I have forgotten about them a little bit. So we're going to see how that does for them. I'm going to put them back now. And then I'm going to do I'm going to save the best till last. So next thing is this guy, which is my Anthurium clarinivium. And this is a plant that I got at my favourite plant shop called the Plant Point in the Corn Exchange. I love it there. And I got it as a wonky house plant, which is like an ugly one, which is like cosmetic damage, like these leaves here. These are the leaves that I got it with, and it's since given me this monster leaf. This is huge. Here's my hand. It's huge, and it's also given this flower, which is nice. So I watched this tutorial, so I'm gonna try collect the pollen on the flower. Here it is. And we've also got this new leaf. This plant currently lives in its initial potting mix, and it's really lovely. It's very nice. She lives in the living room where, I mean, it's in the kitchen, so it's kind of humid, but it's mainly ambient, but she's fine. She's thriving, if that has anything to show for it. And this new leaf as well, and the flower. The one thing I say with anthuriums is you need to keep it watered, especially when new leaves are coming, because if the soil goes dry when there's a new leaf, that leaf's going to go all crinkly and horrible, a bit like that. So keep it watered. Okay, next plant. So my next plant is another one from the Corn Exchange, which is my Anthurium regale or regal. I don't have much to report on her because I only got her recently in the past month. She's got a nice big leaf. It's very damaged, but she is a wonky plant, which is fine. She did produce a new leaf. However, it fell victim to the kitchen cupboard and got chopped off, unfortunately. But we have a new leaf coming, which is nice. Again, she lives in the kitchen. She did initially live in the bathroom. However, we're getting the bathroom redone. So she's been forced to the kitchen. But obviously in any bathroom, that's where you want to keep your anthuriums because it's humid. So they'll put out gorgeous big leaves, and I like the pot as well. Yeah, I can't wait to get the big leaves. And I'm hoping she won't be a one-leaf wonder, which I know they can be. So next, oh yeah, also she's in just the same pot that she came in, like potting mix. There we go. The next one is this guy. This anthurium is a mystery. I don't actually know what it is. I got it on a Grow Tropicals like imperfect mystery box. And obviously some of the leaves are damaged, which is the point. She's given me this leaf, and then more recently this huge leaf. This is my favourite plant leaf at the moment. I adore her. And she also was with the regale previously in the bathroom, but is now currently in the kitchen. And she's doing wonderfully for herself. Pot-wise, she's in a vase, because I saw this guy on YouTube, forgotten his name, but he put all his plants in vases. So I've done that too. I'm just transitioning them over. And she's in moss on the top and fluval stratum, and then a bit of leca on the bottom to give the drainage layers. And as you can see, her roots are insane, and this leaf is insane. She's a very good plant, very, very good plant. If you know what species it is, please let me know. Next, oh, I wonder, we have this one. This anthurium doesn't look very good, to say the least. We're on 2 leaves, and she has a name tag. A anthurium quaramalense. She's the first, like, sort of niche-ish anthurium that I've got. And I got her again on Grow Tropicals. She had more leaves than this. This is the biggest leaf that she came with. She's also in a vase, well, old jar from IKEA with moss and then fluval stratum and like a mossy, muddy stratumy layer. And we've got new growth, which I'm happy about. But I think she could be doing a little bit more for me, not gonna lie. And this is where I learned a lesson. This was the first leaf she's put out for me, and the reason okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I ran out of storage. Yay, this is a great start. So, where was I? Here she is. Not looking great. Obviously with this leaf, while it was coming out beautifully, but I left her on a windowsill because I thought more light is better, and this just all burnt off. And I think she ran out of water a few times. So don't put new anthurium leaves in the sun, because obviously in the rainforest they're not designed or adapted to live in the sun. They live in the shade, so keep them in the shade. She lives on the top of my big plant stand. But I feel like with time, she'll do good. But we just need that time. That's the only thing about plants. you need to be patient, and I'm not patient. So I'm gonna put her back. And then I have here, in this little cup, my Anthurium pallidiflorum. She's put out this leaf and this leaf as well. There's a lot of activity going on. She did have spider mites, which isn't great, but whatever, we'll survive. I'm gonna move my phone up. Oh, the ladder's not doing its job very well. So here she is. She's in a cup, and in the cup is moss, and then Leckery, not Lechusapan, Fluvalstratum, and then just Fluvalstratum at the bottom for drainage. She's very nice, and I want her to size up and like start getting like the proper dangly leaves, which I'm looking forward to seeing. And then we're coming to my top anthuriums now. This is when it gets real. This little guy is my king anthurium, my Anthurium veitchii, and he has had quite the journey. So when I first got him, everything was going great, and I learned a lesson in handling, not in like how to care for him, but how to handle and like be careful around him. Because I was moving my diffuser and the wire pushed him off the table, and he was down to one root and half a leaf. So obviously with time, this is one of the with time cases, he's fully recovered. We've got a lot of root growth. He's in a jar. First one I moved to a jar actually. And in the jar it's lecker and then mossy, barky, muddy, just a bit of everything. And you can sort of see the leaf progression with the smallest leaf, medium leaf, and then this big leaf which has recently come through, which looks beautiful. Also spider mites. I did have spider mites on this guy, but I think they're all gone, and he looks gorgeous, and I love him a lot. And he's probably one of my more rare anthuriums. So I'm going to put him back. And he lives in my plant rack. Next we have the big three. My top 3 anthuriums. I'm going to just get them all in arm's reach. Okay, so these are my queen anthuriums. This is my first one. This is Mariam, and I got her first anthurium or second, and she's very special to me. She also lost all her leaves just while I've been figuring stuff out. She lost all her leaves, and this is a new growth. And she's growing very nicely. Each leaf is getting bigger. This new one is slightly damaged. There. But I'm going to look past it. And she's in... I did a repotting video featuring her so you can see her progression. I'm going to put her back there. And then we have my 2 larger anthuriums, queen anthuriums, Mary and Am. I got Am first. No, I got Mary first. Yeah, I got Mary first. And she's been through a bit. She's in a vase, tall vase. Both of these 2 are in tallish vases. And she's got some gorgeous leaves. This is her latest leaf, which is beautiful. And we're getting a new one, which I'm just going to leave to unfurl, but she's gorgeous. And I love her a lot. And she's really growing away from light with this leaf. She's a little bit wobbly, but an absolutely beautiful houseplant. I love queen anthuriums. Just realised my head isn't in the frame. I love queen anthuriums, that's why I've got 3 of them. And these were like the top plant, like since I started. So to have 3 now just shows. And what you do is you keep the leca bit always with water, so she needs a top up. And you want dechlorinated water so her leaves don't get damaged. And because there's no way of draining it, you don't want a build-up of minerals. Her back. And then we have I'm not, like, this leaf is very nice. It's a bit damaged, but she gave me this leaf. This is the biggest one she came with, and then I've got this one since. But I'm not sure if she can grow anymore, because I might have accidentally gotten rid of her growth stumpy point. But again, we're just going to have to see. Like now it's summer, they should be putting out a lot of growth. And these leaves are very nice and very long. So we're just going to have to see. But that is it for my anthuriums. So next I'm going to do my alocasias. I'm going to put her back. Okay, alocasia time. So alocasias might be my biggest bunch, so I think we'll just make a start on them. This is my alocasia zebrina. She's my first alocasia, and here is a look at her pot. I really like her. I don't really know what to say. We've got a new leaf coming through, which is nice. She's in a alocasia mix. I don't think alocasias are that difficult, if I'm being completely honest. You just need to take care with them and be nice to them, and they'll be nice to you. And all these leaves she's grown with me, and they're all just bigger and bigger and bigger. And I have got a few propagations from her. I've got 2 with the alocasias, because I've got so many little babies. I won't be able to show all of them, but if I have them on hand, I will show them. Here they are. They're 2 alocasia zebrina babies, and they are in fluval stratum. And yeah, they did take longer to propagate than some previous alocasia propagations, but I think that's okay. And I love this plant. The shape of the leaf, she's not been very pesty. Sorry about that, my phone ran out of storage again. I think that's it for my alocasia zebrina. So moving on, we have my alocasia Polly. Where did I put her? Here we go. So this plant has had a journey. So I initially got her with quite a few leaves, and she eventually lost them, probably because they are actually kind of difficult. So she was down to just the rhizome, which is that bit in the middle. So I put her in this cup, which has leca and then just only moss, and her roots have obviously grown, and she's given out this leaf. It's got a little bit of pest damage, but that's kind of to be expected. And she's grown very nicely. From the rhizome, I got an awful lot of quorms, which I propagated all of them into babies. Here's one of them in this cool pot with some random plants and some moss, which also could do with a water. But here is one of her babies. This is the only other baby that I've got in here, so this is the only one I'm going to show, because I've got some everywhere. So that is my alocasia Polly. And on that note, I just love the leaves. It's very nice. I approve of her. It's got a very glossy, darky, matty sort of look to her. And she's very, very gorgeous. Next, I'm going to try find... here we go. Next we have... Next on the list is my Alocasia Jacqueline's. I got these on Grow Tropicals. My unboxing of it is somewhere on my YouTube, and like the Polly, she lost all her leaves, so this is the rhizome. But I don't think the rhizome, I don't think it survived, and I think this is another quorm which has just shot leaves up. These leaves are very nice, very pretty, and we've got a new leaf coming. This is my mum's favourite, and I just think she's gorgeous. I really want to get this reticulated alocasia that I saw on Grow Tropicals one time, but never again, and she looks something like this. Woo! And then I've got two other Alocasia Jacquelines. They're my most sort of prized alocasia, and we've got these two. This one is in the Bonnie and Clyde UK tour mug, which I broke, so it's now a plant pot. Here they are, and what's interesting about them is they're both from the same mother plant, so they're both genetically identical. But look at how different the leaves are. This one's got a weirdly, I don't know where the camera is, a weirdly long leaf. And I don't know why. And then this one's got a normal one. But that's kind of cool. Yeah, I love them. They're really cute as well. And I'm going to put them back before I break them. So that's it for the Alocasia Jacqueline. Very nice plant. I feel like I'm going through them quite quickly. That's just how I roll. Who's next? Who's next? Here we go. This is my main Alocasia Regal Shield. I also got her at Grow Tropicals, and I've transitioned her into Leca. I need to move her like stumpy bit down into the Leca because she's a little bit floppy. And I have also gotten plenty of quorms and babies, grown baby Alocasia Regal Shields, which are in, I've got basically, if I get a chance to film a video I will, but it might not appear in this video. I've got a big pot which is, there we go, which is filled with loads of different alocasias. It's got Fridax, Regal Shields, and this weird one as well. Next up is the Alocasia Fridac. Speak of the devil. Here's my little propagation one. It's in this creme brulee container. The main one is in my fish tank, which I'll show later, as well as the other Alocasia, not that fish tank, the other one. The other Alocasia and the pot full of hundreds, but they're outside because it's a heat wave and tropical. So this is the only look of the Fridac. Ignore this. And she's in moss and fluval. Not fluval. Yes, aqua soil. Aqua soil. So yeah, I'm gonna go get a video of those alocasias. So let's go. Hello, this is voice recorder Dylan. So this is my fish tank where I have my electric blue acara and my big Alocasia Fridac, as well as a few other plants, but this is the main one, and it's fairly big but it also doesn't look great because, like, it had thrips. All the plants downstairs had thrips, and while treating it, the roots got a bit shriveled up, and that one got stuck in the tank, which I'm just fixing there. And it sort of just, it needs help. There's its leaf, which is gorgeous, but it's going yellow. But it'll get there. And then this is like my plant proppy station. So there's another one of my alocasia jacquelines, which I'm propagating. And then this is like my propagation big box. And I have a poly with a nice, beautiful big leaf, and then a new leaf coming. And that is where I propagate some of my larger stuff. And then in here is my mini prop box, where I put all my cuttings and alocasia corms, which I don't think are going to make it, and it just means they will make it. So I've got a few Jacqueline ones in there, as well as a lot of moss. I've also got passion fruit in there. I've got passion fruit in quite a few pots, just growing as wild as I can get it. But I would recommend a pop box because it's humid, and in the grow light it's obviously quite light. And then we'll see some of the other plants later. And then I've got my grow pot, which is on the timer. And then coming outside into my garden, I'm going to do this philodendron as well. This is one of my other alocasias. Weird alocasia. Just a random alocasia. I've propagated it quite a lot of times. And it's quite nice. And then moving here, this is where I've put the majority of my alocasia propagations. Just so we've got Frideck, Regal Shield, very sad, Polly, and then that's again more random ones. And they all just do great outside. In this weather, when we're in a heat wave, get all your plants outside. And obviously it's tropical. They've already putting out new leaves. They need to be outside. There we go. That's voiceover Dylan out. So I've returned from the garden, and it is B next on the alphabet. I used to have an aglaonema, but I killed it. So B means my banana plant, my banana tree. Here we are. She's quite big and quite clunky and clumsy, but here she is. Now this is my Musa banana dwarf banana tree, and so you need to keep her well watered or the leaves shrivel up. I initially had her outside, but I think it got too hot, so she's inside. She gives me new leaves like every other week. Here's her latest work, and this leaf doesn't have any variegations or tiger markings, and if so they're very faint, but especially on this leaf and this one there's a lot of tiger markings, which apparently they do, but I didn't know that, so I was very excited. And then we've got a new leaf. We've got a new leaf coming through as well. She's very nice. She keeps getting damaged because she's just big and takes up a lot of space, but I love her. And she grows back fast enough, so it's not a huge concern. And then I think that scared me. My curtains on my bed. That's enough for B. Actually, it's not. This is my similar bird of paradise. We're getting a new leaf at the moment. I've recently upgraded her pot. She's getting a bigger pot. Yay. She's really pretty. I've had her for quite a while. The leaves aren't really getting bigger, but I'm not too fussed. She fits in nicely in the area that she takes up. So next is C, which is this guy. This is my Chinese money plant, and I'm aware I'm going off common names, but that's fine. And this was a present, and I love her. I love this plant a lot. Very special plant. We've got actually some new growth there, and new growth somewhere else as well. Very pretty, growing nicely, lots of new leaves. So I'm very happy with her. And the next ones I'm gonna do, I might just lose the alphabet thing because I can't really keep track. So next I'm gonna do philodendrons, which is gonna take ages because I have thousands. Let's do philodendrons. So for my philodendrons, I'm including monsteras. So this guy is my philodendron Brazil. I got him as a very small cutting with just this one leaf, and he's growing nicely. Not much to say. Growing quite quickly. I like the variegations, and I kind of want to, with all my propagations, I just want to do something with them because I don't just want to have plants just taking up space on my little rack. And then here is my philodendron micas, I don't know. Again, similar sitch in a cup, in some moss this time. Not much to say about either of them two, they just need to grow a bit and like show off a little bit. Next is my philodendron melanochrysum. And if you watched my unboxing of this plant, you'll know it didn't always look like this. It used to be gorgeous with big leaves, but then it got root rot because I put too much moss in the soil and got too excited watering. So she's down to this. She was just this stump, and she's grown both of these two leaves. Again, she just needs time. Pause for this. Next up we have this philodendron. I got this with the mystery anthurium. Also didn't come with a card. She's quite bouncy, but the roots are secure. She just sort of rests like this. These are the two newest leaves that she's given me, and she did decide today, the reason why she doesn't look like we got more damage on them is because she decided to jump off the plant rack, which is much appreciated. But she's fine, she's coping. The roots seem healthy enough, so I'm perfectly happy with her. And she fills a nice space on the plant shelf here. Then I have possibly one of my biggest, not regrets, but what I did with her. So this is my mini monstera. So when I got this plant, she was initially a lot larger and she was growing a lot quicker, but I think I got a bit overexcited and decided to cut her up into teeny tiny propagations, and this was the only one who survived. Sadly, well, not sadly, but frustratingly, she was the only one who survived, but she's given me these 4 leaves, which are growing nicely. And obviously these guys are really fast growers. And she's in my favourite pot, which looks like a duck. So I really like this one. like all the philodendron propagations, she just needs to grow a little bit more. But that's fine. Here we have. I'm gonna save my Thai constellation for a little bit longer. And talk now about that's you. My philodendron pink princess. So the keen viewers will notice that she has a moss pole. This was initially for the melanochrysum, but when she lost all her leaves, I didn't think there was much point in her having a moss pole. So I've given it to my pink princess, which is a present from one of my friends. And she's growing nicely. She's given heaps of new leaves, but she's not really started up the moss pole. Like, there's no roots in the moss pole yet. But I'm just going to give her time. But I love her already. And I think she'll just continue to grow. And fingers crossed stay nice and pretty. So that's her done. The moss you need to keep the moss damp. Which has just reminded me I need to keep the moss damp. So, just get some water. It's from my trusty Love Island water bottle. And you just pour the water into the moss pole. And this is because in the wild, these guys would climb up a mossy tree and their aerial roots go into the moss, which supports healthy growth. Here we go, so moss pole is now watered, so I'm going to put her back. It also, I think the reason why I sort of switched to moss and leca and aqua soil is to just increase humidity, because obviously in the UK, like, the houses are designed to keep it not humid, which isn't great for jungle houseplants. But the moss in the pots, the water in the propagations, that all helps to increase the humidity. Next is my beautiful Monstera Thai constellation. This was one of my dream plants for quite a while, and she's very nice. Very pretty plant. And she's given me lots of growth. Very nice variegations. Absolutely zero complaints. Whether she probably needs a water. Definitely needs a water. I'm going to need to water her. Okay, I'm back. And she's watered, yay. Very pretty. I adore the variegations. I prefer the malted-y sort of variegations instead of, if you thought that was a strip for a second, but it's not, over the sort of like patches of white, because obviously there's no chlorophyll. This is just a waste of energy for her. So I prefer these leaves with the bamboo variegations. So that's my Thai con. Okay, oh god. So I just knocked over one of them. So I'll get out of the carpet. Okay. There we go. So next we have my Monstera Adansonii. So this used to be in its own pot with soil, this pot, but I've cut and propagated her. We've got root growth, which is a good sign, and if I had a spare moss pole, she'd be on a moss pole because I want to see those big leaves that you see on YouTube and Instagram. But if I get a moss pole, she's the one who's getting it. And then here's another one, which I just have in a pot of soil, which is lovely. And then if I get the phone and sort of like do this, actually I'm just going to record a new video. Okay, voiceover Dylan is back. This is my philodendron tree. It's one of those huge philodendrons, and that is a new leaf, which I did not know about, which is a nice surprise. And it just shows why you need to get your philodendron plants outside. Get them all outside, just let them grow, and they'll reward you with the new growth. And it's tropical climate, so they can survive. They'll thrive. Obviously, we've got that gorgeous glossy new leaf, and it's nighttime when I'm filming this, which is why. But yeah, please take your houseplants outside. Here is the star attraction, my Monstera Deliciosa. And I've not, for goodness sake. Okay, they're not normally in my room, these ones. So I'm a bit clumsy. I might just need to give that a bit of a hoover. Oh wow. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna need to pause and give that a hoover. Okay, the mess has been cleared, so I can get back to talking about this guy. So this is my Monstera Deliciosa, and she's just huge. She's on like the crappy moss pole, which isn't really a moss pole. And each leaf, like all of these leaves are ones that she's produced under my care, and it's just brilliant, you know. Like, that's my hand. It's one of my plants. And we have our first like internal-ish fenestration. I know it's teeny tiny, but it's a sign. It's a sign she is a happy bunny. And then like, you can sort of see like all the aerial roots. I've got a peace lily down there as well, bless it. But yeah, that's my biggest plant, my Monstera Deliciosa. So that is, I think that's philodendrons done. So next I'm going to do my calatheas. Okay, so it is going to be the calatheas next. So calathea wise, I used to have some decent ones, but then I sort of just didn't like it. So I kind of just let it die in this corner, which was worth it because it meant I could put my nice Monstera there. Here's one of my, this is my rattlesnake calathea. Very much just forgotten about her, let her do her own thing. But to be honest, for a plant which I've forgotten about, she doesn't look that bad. Like, that's quite good. There's a little bit of leaves which have gone a little bit crispy. Fingers crossed it's because of the sun and not pests. But this is my rattlesnake plant. She was previously a dream plant, which I've acquired. I need to bend down a little bit, don't I? But very nice calathea. Very pretty. Ooh. So she lives on the bottom floor of my plant shelf in the shade, which is kind of similar to how it would be in the wild on the bottom of the rainforest, which probably works out quite well for her. Then we have my, like, is it like a Calathea zebrina or something? I don't actually know. My appeal with this plant is the velvety leaves. I got this as another ugly plant from the plant point. Pests and sunburn and forgetting about her have really troubled and plagued this plant. She doesn't look great, let's be honest. There's a lot of not very nice looking leaves. That one's a bit crispy. But with time, I did a huge pest treatment, so that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Just scanning her now. Yeah, she's fine now, but she needs time to recover. But she lives downstairs, just because I don't want to risk any pests up here. But she will be pretty, and she will be nice, and I don't want to get a nice big one, because I don't want to abandon her, because I know that she has potential. So that is my short Calathea collection. Now I'm going to do my orchids. So I've got 2 orchids, oh gosh. I have this guy, who I've, recently moved into a creme brulee container. She was in my Bonnie and Clyde mug, but got root rot. So she's in here now. The flowers on this orchid are very pretty. And she's given me a lot of flowers, probably because she's been dying. Flowers can either mean that a plant's really happy or dying. Because they're reproducing, so it's probably like, oh yeah, I like it here, let's spread the species. Or I'm dying, so this is my last ditch effort not to die. But she's looking better now. She lives on my windowsill. So that is my, like, typical orchid. And then I also have a jewel orchid. This is my jewel orchid. Very pretty leaf designs. And she's growing in just, she needs a bigger pot because she's got 3 growth points at the moment, and all of this will need this, like this bit here. This will all need to root, and so will it on the other 2 growth points. Apparently, just so she can continue to put on nice leaves. But apparently they're really good to propagate. So if I can figure out how to pot her up into a bigger pot, I will, and then I will get propagating. Because I love propagating plants, that's why I have so many alocasias. Just won't stop propping. And I think I prefer that sort of planty stuff. Like, once you've gotten a good few species, just make more. And like, I give them, like, most of my friends have a few plants from me, just alocasias and whatnot, just because I have thousands, and not literally thousands. Next, this is my ficus, which used to be nicer, but I fell out of love with it, so I cut it and propagated it. She looks nice now in a little pot, and I think she looks better in this little pot. Forgotten where I put her. Just there. Okay, next I'm going to do my carnivorous plants. So, in the carnivorous plant department, I've got 3 at the moment, and I really want to do something cool with them. So I've decided to get like a nice bowl and just copy someone off YouTube and make a carnivorous plant bog with some lava rock, like black sand, but I need to figure out what soil they like, because I know they're a bit fussy with that, and I need to get a bowl. Like, I did find a bowl at a charity shop, which I ended up getting, but it was a bit small for all 3, so I've put a water, oh my carpet, I've put a water lotus bulb in there instead. So my first one is my pinguicula. It's like a carnivorous succulent. I guess she's got this gorgeous little flower, and her leaves are all very sticky, which is how she catches her insects. And they've sort of like self-propagated. There's loads in here, which I could separate, but I don't have carnivorous plant soil and I don't really know what it is. But once I figure that out and become more carnivorous planty, I will get loads of them. And she lives in another creme brulee container, which is normally filled with water. And then next I have my North American pitcher plant hybrid. So I know this is a hybrid, but I don't know specifically what type of hybrid. But I just think these pictures are absolutely brilliant. Like, the colour on them is just superb. And this is the one who needs its own thing, like the bowl, the most, just because of how often it runs out of water. Like, it used to be in a pot with the jar always filled, but it just goes through water so quickly. We have some new growth coming through, and they sort of develop the more reddy colour as the leaves mature. But this is one, and I guess when you have to dechlorinate the water before you water, it just takes time. But it's gorgeous, and it catches leaves. This bit's very sticky, and it smells nice, and then the insects fall down into that, like, thing, and they get digested in this bit. Very pretty, but it is, like, a victim of needing something. Like, I need a nice bowl for it, basically. And then my most recent one is this guy, which is a Sarracenia mix. So some sort of hybrid similar to my previous one. And this is my third most recent carnivorous plant. Oh no. I think I just poured its digestive juices on my carpet. Okay, that's only moss, that's okay. That's okay, we're just going to continue. He's very cool. And I like him a lot, and I can't wait to do something with him. So that is all three of my carnivorous plants. And watering these guys, dechlorinate the water. Like, leave it for a night, leave it for a day. But you can't give them nutrients or chlorinated water because it will just kill them. Like, they are a bit fussy when it comes to that. But that is my carnivorous plants done. And I'm going to clean up its digestive juices because I don't want it in the carpet. Finally, I just have this. I've got my succulents and cactuses. So this is my crinkle leaf succulent, my first house plant, and is also in need of a water. Very nice. I've got another one in my desert terrarium, which I'll show next. And yeah, really cool. And I like the colour of the leaves. Not much to say. Wonderful plant. My first ever plant. So that is it for him. Now let's do... I want to stick to cactuses in this section. Because I have a few. Whoops. But I've also got this thing. It's kind of cool. Not much to say about it. It needs water. That will be the next task. But very cool, very cool. I'm going to go water them, and then we're going to do cactuses properly. So this is my Livingstone lithops bowl, and so lithops are a type of succulent, and you want in their soil it to be mainly sand and gravel, and then a little bit of organic composty soil. So I've given it, and do not water them. And then here is one of my cactus bowls, And I've got some fossils in there. We've got a lot of nice cactuses. They're all pretty chill. And it's cactus soil potting mix and then leca in the bottom because there's no drainage. In a nice zebra pot. And then here's another one with some nice yellow sand in a terracotta pot which has drainage. So it's just cactus potting mix. And we've got 3 lovely cactuses in there. And a lovely pot, if I say so myself. And then this is my desert terrarium, if I give it an open. So it's cactus potting mix with leca on the bottom. Here's this mystery succulent that I got at the plant point. Beautiful tiger leaves and a lot of new growth. And then this is like a hope plant or something like that. And I've got it in the cork bark, growing out of the cork bark, all cool. And it's also putting on good growth. And then here's like a fairly like typical barrely cactus, which is very nice and growing well. So I've got a mixture of random rocks, deserty looking rocks. Here's how tall the soil is. I don't know what the white patch is. And you can see the leca there at the bottom. And then in the corner is the example of my crinkle leaf succulent. It's given out loads of growth. It gets light from my let pot. It's very nice. Lots of new growth, and you can see the aerial roots that they release. And then this is a palm tree of some description, which I've forgotten the name of. I've given it a nice prune recently to get rid of all the ugly leaves because it had thrips, like everyone did. And it's in a very nice pot. The leaves are looking very nice and green. There's so many growth points. And then this plant is very special. It is a avocado that I grew from an avocado stem. And it's in leca. And just getting rid of that cutting there because it can go with that alocasia. And it's got 2 growth points, weirdly. The moss is very dry, but it's dry weather, so I'll give it a water. Gorgeous growth, nice big leaves. It's in leca. It'll take years to produce avocados, but this is from a store-bought avocado, so, like, grow stuff. If you have seeds, grow stuff. Just grow everything. I grow peppers and strawberries and passion fruit. Grow stuff. So, with all of my plants shown, I've not really included much from my fish tanks, just because I feel like that's like a separate video, I guess. It would be good now to just share some of my sort of like tips and tricks, I guess, on what I've learned from my first year as a plant parent. So I think like mainly is to not be afraid to experiment. And I mean, like, obviously, like, as you can tell, each of my plants has something slightly different about them. So, like, experiment with varieties, like triantheriums, calatheas, alocasias, and just figure out what group you like. I'm leaning towards my anthuriums, but just figure that out. So experiment with variety, and then also with the mediums that you're growing them in. I've got like moss, fish tank water, carnivorous plants, which is scary for me, just normal soil, and then also leca and aqua soil, and like just experiment, try new things, try putting them in a jar. And I think what's great about it is how like eco-friendly it is, because you can literally use anything. I've started collecting plastic cups. So when you go to a cafe and they give you like an iced coffee in a plastic cup, keep it. That's what, and use it to propagate something. And just try new things, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because obviously I think my Kinantherium is my biggest example of this. Lost all leaves and now it's beautiful. And I think just accepting things take time. Yeah, thank you for watching. Please check out some of my other videos, and I hope you enjoyed it and learned something about my plants. Thank you. Bye bye.